Bravo. Okay, let's talk Adele. I love Adele. Adele opened up to the Hollywood Reporter about her parenting, saying no matter if your childhood was good or bad, you don't want your child to have the same upbringing as you. Okay, so the question is, how much influence does the way that you were raised have on your parenting style?
Oh, this is a big one.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to the Shrink's couch.
Here we go.
Let's dig in deep. Listen, I think there's conscious parenting and unconscious parenting, and I think the thing that I learned having a child is whether you know it or not, your childhood is coming to confront you when you have your own child.
100%.
And you're just like, you are living, breathing, my shadow, my id, my ego, all of it. It's right here. And so I did not expect that that was gonna happen when I had my own child. So the area where I've seen the biggest example of I don't want to raise my child the way that I was raised, I think a lot of people can relate to this, is corporal punishment. So we were raised in the generation where a lot of us, we were spanked, right? And I know a lot of people today, including myself, I've caught myself saying, we're fine. It wasn't that bad. Look at us, we're successful, we're fine. And yet I will never, ever, ever lay a hand on my daughter. And so I asked myself, if I was raised that way and it made me who I am, why will I not? Well, first of all, societally, it's not acceptable anymore. Pretty sure it's illegal almost everywhere. But what has happened is the other shift, which some parents, sometimes me, goes the other way, where now there's no consequences at all. And I think that is a reaction.
Don't say no.
Yeah.
Too,
So I say that that's sort of, to me, the biggest link I have between how I was raised versus how I parent, and I've made totally different decisions that way.
Yeah, I think I was raised on welfare, pretty poor. I was in a single parent household with just my mom and my 3 brothers, so we were a huge family, struggled with money all the time, and I think that made us grow up with a bit of a resentment towards people who had wealth. And so I remember growing up thinking, when I have kids, I have to raise them poor so that they they take on the same values as me. Spoiler, when I became an adult, I don't feel that way at all. I wanted to be security there all the time. But I think when you become a parent, you re-meet your own parents, right? So you meet them as a new person when you have to show them what you've done with the mess you've made making a child. And there comes a lot of criticism about, oh, I wish my mom did this or did that. But then the respect level goes through the roof when you think about what they had to struggle with to bring you up the way they did. And me and all my brothers, at the very least, we're all friends. We all love each other intensely. There's zero animosity, and there could have easily been. And I really think that I just want to praise my mom on national television.
And Lynn, you have 3 kids.
I have 3 kids.
So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I feel like, I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like I'm behind constantly as a parent. When I compare what my parents were able to give us growing up, they had a nice house by the time they were 35, they owned a car, all of these things that, I may not necessarily have right now. So I feel like it's just so much more expensive, I find. And maybe it wasn't, maybe it's all relative, I don't know. I just feel like I'm behind a little bit. But I will say the core values of what they taught us and the fact that we're the 4 of us, so I'm one of 4 kids, and we are the best of friends. I think at the end of the day, it's the empathy, it's the kindness, it's the drive, all of those things, those core beliefs, those core states of being are there. And I hope to emulate that with my children. I hope my kids want to go on vacation with you when they're older, like we do. That, I think, is a win, a huge win.
I went to Vegas with my brothers this summer. It was
awesome.
I went to Vegas, but not with my siblings. I'm gonna support all the parents who drop the ball. The best advice I ever heard somebody say is, listen, parenting is the hardest job you'll ever do, and there's no handbook. There's no handbook. No one gives you a guide. When you learn how to drive, they give you lessons. There's a guidebook. Everything else, you want to buy a house, there's a realtor. Everybody's walking you through it. Parenting is just kind of like, here you go, here's your baby. And I think as I get older, I realize my parents did the best that they could. And they took from what their parents gave them. And if I were to have children, my job is to take the good stuff of what my parents gave me and pass it on to my kids. And where they made the little mistakes and things they didn't know, that's where I fix it. So I think sometimes we are too quick to be like, oh, let's get rid of all the bad things that our parents did to us. Well, some of us, that adversity and that hardship actually helped mold us into the person we are today and give us that character that makes us fight and have that ambition. So I think we're just, we're a little too hard on the parents who made the mistakes. They did the best that they could.
But just keep in mind, we're also going to make mistakes, and our kids are going to have the same conversation.
Absolutely.
Let's just hope none of them get a national talk show.
Next week, Marquesa.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.